she steps onto a Riyadh hotel terrace, not in a tiara, not under the Union flag, but beneath a different canopy, entirely flanked, unphotographed, and seated beside power brokers outside the traditional orbit of British royal life. There is no official court circular entry, no palace statement to mark her presence. Yet she is there, at the very moment her father's final symbols of royal identity are stripped away by the crown. Princess Beatrice appears not in retreat, but advancing. If she is quietly following in Andrew's footsteps, is it caution or ambition that guides her, or both? The evidence in hand supports some of this narrative, but the rest remains deliberately, perhaps strategically, obscured. Official documents confirm that King Charles has formally removed Prince Andrew's remaining styles and titles, a decision of legal and dynastic consequence. This action, confirmed by AP News on November 6, 2025, marks the end of Andrew's royal life, in name, as well as in function. Before we dive in, there's something I need to share with you. Over the past few days, thousands have watched these stories unfold, but most haven't subscribed. If you're one of them, I invite you now to join us. Subscribe to Crownverse so you never miss the next chapter in this unfolding royal history. Let us begin not with a scandal, but with an arrangement. One princess gains a new role. One prince loses all vestiges of his own. And between those 2 points, a visit reported, unconfirmed, and haunting in its timing. The stakes lie not only in titles or travel, but in optics, influence, and proximity to power. Prince Andrew has long been absent from official engagements. His public presence reduced to guarded outings and occasional attendance at private family functions. But his legal identity as a prince remained intact until now. On November 3, 2025, by letters patent issued from the sovereign PSL, his entitlement to use the style, His Royal Highness, and the title Prince was formally revoked. The document was published with legal clarity. What had been rumored for months is now fact. Andrew is no longer, in any public or formal sense, a prince of the United Kingdom. That is not merely semantics. It erases his remaining privileges within the institution and closes the last door that connected his disgraced profile to the formal architecture of the monarchy. He retains the Duke of York title by birthright, but it now floats without functional anchor. Reports from AP and The Guardian, both dated within a day of the letters patent, verify this sequence without embellishment. What follows next is not announced through a press release, but is uncovered through quiet observation. Days after Andrew's removal is formalized, Princess Beatrice is appointed Deputy Patron of the Outward Bound Trust. The role is shared with her uncle Prince Edward, who assumes the senior title of Royal Patron. There is precedent for this. The organization has long been supported by royal family members, including her grandfather, Prince Philip. But the timing, again, invites scrutiny. The announcement comes on November 7, 4 days after Andrew's titles are stripped, and 2 days before international speculation mounts over Beatrice's movements in Riyadh. The second thread of this story lives in suggestion and timing, not formal release. Several non-UK outlets, including the News International and GB News, cite claims that Beatrice hosted a discreet afternoon tea at a luxury hotel in Riyadh, allegedly attended by high-level financiers and energy figures during the Future Investment Initiative Conference. These sources, while not mainstream or primary, present the image of a princess unbound by the restrictions of formal royal protocol, present not on behalf of the crown, but possibly on behalf of legacy, strategy, or survival. The tea is not photographed, her presence not listed on any official panel, and the nature of her attendance, whether as guest, delegate, or something more, remains unconfirmed. Still, the circumstantial framing is potent. The event's timing overlaps precisely with the public disclosure of her father's final loss of royal standing. The optics suggest an inheritance of a different kind, not of title, but of tactic. Andrew, for decades, maintained an extensive network of commercial and diplomatic ties in the Gulf. Many of these associations were later deemed problematic. Some the subject of scrutiny, others of regret. For Beatrice to be visible in a similar context, just as Andrew's public identity is being erased, draws a line that observers are quick to trace. But here is where verification ends and interpretation begins. Was Beatrice's presence in Riyadh part of a formal role? Credible outlets do not confirm this. Was she treated as a VIP at high-level meetings? The language originates from tabloid-adjacent reporting, without primary confirmation. Was this appearance part of a broader strategy, perhaps an unspoken arrangement within the family, to position her as a soft bridge to global capital, filling a void left by Andrew's exit? That too remains speculative. There is no court filing, no schedule, no public comment from her office or the palace. What we are left with is a constellation of truths and shadows. Beatrice is indeed stepping into a new public-facing role. Andrew is indeed stepping out of his final official one. Between those two facts lies a space that is both meaningful and uncharted. The royal household has offered no clarification about her Riyadh visit. No flight logs have been released. No statement has been issued. There are reasons a reasonable person might dismiss the emerging narrative. Beatrice is not a working royal. She has no official funding from the sovereign grant and maintains a career in finance. Her participation in conferences, whether economic, philanthropic, or political, may reflect her own professional trajectory rather than any institutional agenda. It is not uncommon for minor royals to travel in private capacities, and her attendance at the Future Investment Initiative, if verified, may not constitute anything more than that. Furthermore, the tea event, as described, may never have occurred, or, if it did, may have held no deeper intent than courtesy. Yet this perspective raises its own questions. Why, then, does the palace not confirm or deny? Why not clarify the nature of the trip, if only to separate Beatrice from the speculation now circulating around her presence? Why, in the same week that Andrew is removed from royal life by decree, does the public first encounter Beatrice's new title, not through fanfare, but through a press release buried under geopolitical headlines? Within the next 48 to 72 hours, watch for follow-up signals. If Beatrice appears at any follow-up summit, charity gala, or diplomatic engagement, particularly in the Middle East, it will signal continuation. If official documents, speaker lists, or corporate sponsorship details emerge linking her to Saudi or Gulf entities, the implications may deepen. If the palace or the outward-bound trust clarifies the nature of her duties, the story may contract or expand. There is also the possibility of silence. If no confirmation or clarification is issued, if the media trail ends as quietly as it began, then this becomes something else entirely. Not a moment of elevation, but of plausible ambiguity. That too has a function within monarchy, allowing movement without declaration, trial without verdict, action without name. The final image is this: a daughter steps forward in the very hour her father steps back. Her title unchanged, her status undefined, but her direction unmistakably visible to those who choose to look. The path she walks may not bear the crown, but it may yet cast a long shadow over its future shape. And so we ask, when the institution rewrites its script, who gets to hold the pen, and who simply changes costumes, just offstage?